So moving on, in this bin, I have some worm castings. So this is high quality worm castings. And then in this bin, I have hydroplatin balls, otherwise known as leca balls. And this is really helpful because it's clay balls that help, keep air around the roots. And these retain a little bit of water, but not so much. But what it does is it allows the plant to grow stronger, thicker roots because it's having to push through larger, stronger substrate pieces. So I really like that for strong, healthy, thick root growth. And then at the very bottom, I'm gonna point this down, I have my bin of just regular peat, cocoa peat. And this is my bottom bin. It comes in a brick, and I just fill it with solution, diluted newt water or Super Thrive. And then I just let it soak it up, and I always keep it there to use whenever I'm ready for potting. And this is actually where I do the potting. So I'll just take scoops from these different bins, plop it in there, mix it around, and then actually pot my plants in there. So it's really clean and simple. It doesn't make a mess anywhere, and it keeps everything organized so that I can mix different types of soil substrate depending on the different plant that I'm going to be potting. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for the Monstera Albo. So as you guys know, if you haven't seen it, it's in my Instagram story highlights. I got this Albo, and when it came, the roots were completely rotted. So I had put it into some urgent care. I basically washed the roots with Blue Dawn liquid soap, and I washed them really good. But I kept the roots, whatever roots that were there, still on there. Meaning because the roots were rotted, the outside of the roots were mushy and brown, but I didn't cut the roots. I basically took the Blue Dawn and I washed the roots to the strands, the outer strands or shell of the roots kind of just fell off, and you were left with these really thin inner roots, like they were like strands of hair, but I kept them on the plant. So I washed it really well, and then I put the pole plant, the plant, the roots, into a biofungicide solution, water solution. I used Bonide Revitalize, and I put it in there for a couple of hours, I think like 4 to 6 hours. And then after that, I took it out. You could put the plant in there for longer. I mean, the solution is organic and it doesn't harm the plant. So I thought that was really beneficial in helping the plant to prevent any more bacteria or anything growing, and preventing the rot, of course. So then, after I put it in the solution, I basically wrapped the entire base stem of the plant and those strands of roots that were left in the sphagnum moss, the New Zealand sphagnum moss. I put it in my biopod, and I just kept the humidity high. It was warm, and it had a grow light on it, and it was misted daily with water. And then new roots started growing fairly fast. So here's an update on what the roots look like now. Let's pull this out a little bit. So it has like aerial roots growing, which is looking really good. And then if you guys can see, there's like roots everywhere. It's already wrapping around the base of the pot. So I think it's good to repot now. Now, mind you, once I had it rooting, when the roots grew about 3 to 4 inches, 3 to 5 inches, I'd say, I put it in a soil substrate, my aeroid mix. in a terracotta pot, and I took it out of the biopod and just let it be. So this is all the roots that have grown since it's been out of the biopod, but looks really healthy. So now this pot's too small. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a bigger pot. Let's see, I have this pot. I already put some substrate at the base. I also put this to block the soil from coming out of the drainage hole. You can get those on Amazon. I'll link everything in my bio of the supplies that I use. But this is the difference in size pots that I'm gonna use. Now this pot is probably a little bigger than I'd like, but it's the only pot I have on hand. I'd probably only go one size bigger, but this appears to be two size bigger. But I think that based on the way that I'm repotting, the plant's gonna be okay. So whenever I repot, I never take the soil that is around the roots away. I keep those there because the roots have built a network of beneficial fungus, mycorrhizal bacteria that are working together to help the roots grow strong and to, have the nutrients shared among the roots. So it's built a network already. I don't want to break that up. I want to keep the good beneficial bacteria there. And I just want to pot it into a larger terracotta pot. And then I'm going to mix my substrate. So what I'll do is I'll take some orchid bark from up here. I have this scooper that I use, comes in handy. Take a scoop of that. I will plop that into my bottom bin. Here I have my sphagnum moss, which is still soaking, but I'll take a handful of that, plop it into my bottom bin. I usually will also chop up the sphagnum moss just to have it a little bit more chunky. I don't really like long strands of sphagnum moss. I like smaller pieces. Take my horticultural charcoal, throw it in the bottom bin. I will also take a scoop of leca, throw it in there, and a scoop of worm castings. Sometimes I'll use Osmocote as well, but worm castings is easy, organic, it doesn't burn the plant, and I think it really helps to feed the plant slowly over time. And all I do here, sorry, I'm gonna move the camera, is I just mix it up. I give it a good mix, and it should look really chunky. And that's what you want for a good aeroid mix, nice and chunky. So then, once I have a good mixture, I'll just take my plant and just go ahead and pot it up, putting the soil around the sides. There it is. Nice, clean, easy. And I also keep this mixture down here, so whenever I need to repot, I just pull from this bin, and then that's it. I don't need to take out loads of bags. I have everything organized. I don't have soil spilling everywhere. I really like this method. I think it's good for anyone who is keeping house plants in their house. You could also use it outdoors. I think it would be good to have in a greenhouse or outdoors. You just want to be cognizant of the amount of moisture you keep in each of these bins, because I'm having good success here, but I also have really good airflow. So you want to make sure that nothing stays too wet or too damp in these bins, because you want to prevent you know, mold and bacteria from growing. But other than that, I'm trying to think. If you guys have any questions, let me know. These containers are modular containers from the Container Store. I actually bought this on the marketplace. So someone had used it for their arts and crafts, but I got a really good deal on it. So I went ahead and bought it on the marketplace. So keep a lookout for used containers. Otherwise, I think they were like, I don't know, $20 to $35 per module. But the good thing about them is they're stackable so that you can, you know, get a couple big bins, you can get a couple small bins, whatever system works for you. You can kind of build a system the way you want it. So that is my soil tower. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments, and good luck and happy planting and Happy New Year.